Well, of course, stocks are heading into 2018 near record highs. To market watcher Scott Martin on how long this rally can keep on going. Scott, I'm having a lot of fun reading all these year-end apologies by market analysts trying to explain why the correction that they predicted was coming never came. I don't recall you ever having said that there was a correction coming, did you?
No, I didn't, David. I did think there was going to be more volatility because of all the rumblings going on in Congress. But my goodness, this market, as you said, just kept on chugging. But I'll tell you what, we're going to get into January where there may be some tax selling, at least with respect to the new year. And, some economic data points, too, that are going to be interesting. Don't forget, we have a new Fed chairman coming in February, David. So there's some events here coming up that the market may take with a little bit of a cautious eye. I do this show with Steve Forbes on Fox, and he rarely, if ever, gives stock tips. But he did so last Saturday. I just asked him out of the blue. I said, do you have any stock tips for the folks out there? He said he thinks that the tech sector still has room to grow. Do you? I do. If you look at earnings power in the S&P 500, my friend, it's all in tech. Tech is going to be the leader, I think, again in 2018. But I'll tell you what's also interesting. Look at the interest rate picture. Look at how we have the Fed that's set to maybe do 3, maybe 4 hikes in 2018. So look at the banks, too, David. They've been left behind in previous years, especially as the expansion has gotten going. The banks have started to catch up. I think they're also going to lead next year.
There's also a question of what you buy. I haven't bought a single stock. I think the last single stock I bought, and I'm not bragging here, but was FedEx back when it was very, very low, and I made some money. I didn't sell it at its highest point. But now, whenever I buy stocks, it's all in a fund, whether it's the SPDR fund, SPY fund, or whatever. What fund do you think people should buy if they're into, say, tech?
Yeah, well, we talked about tech there. There's a couple. XLK is one that we own that we like. It's a SPDR sector trust. It has all the technology companies in there. And then we talked about financials, too. XLF is another financial ETF that has a lot of the major banks in there. So you're right. You made a good point. With some of those indexes, you don't have to worry about picking the 1 or 2 tech companies that are going to do well. You can benefit from the whole sector doing well, and I think that's a good way to play 2018.
Of course, there is one stock, I don't know if you even can call it a stock, but Bitcoin, which is getting a lot of attention these days. Warren Buffett famously calls it a FOMA stock. I don't know if you know FOMA, fear of missing out, F-O-M-A.
Missing out, yeah.
Do you think it's that?
David, Bitcoin to me is one of those things that's a little bit of a fad right now. I do believe in the cryptocurrencies, but which one's going to emerge as the long-term solution is anybody's guess. I would just tell you to tread lightly, use risk capital only, and be ready to pull the trigger and get out if things get a little dicey.
But, you hear these extraordinary stories. Yesterday, we had a guy on who bought Bitcoin at less than $1, and so far as I can tell, he wasn't selling it at all. I told him to sell half of it every day because you can keep having it and become a millionaire pretty easily. But, Cabot, you've got a terrific anecdote about somebody who bought Bitcoin in college, right?
Yeah, years ago, a friend of mine was involved in Bitcoin mining. He set up a computer on the school's power grid.
What does that mean, Bitcoin mining?
It's basically running a program that will, create blockchain, things like that, so you can gather it yourself. And he had all these Bitcoins. He kept raving about it years ago to all of our friends.
But by the way, wasn't he caught by the school because it needs that kind of mining? It requires tremendous energy. He had these energy surges.
He was doing it in his dorm room, and the school administration came in and said, we know someone's using all this power. We're going to find out. So he snuck into the science wing of the school at night and set up all his computers in the ceiling with fans and everything, ran 24/7. And just this past week, pulled out at $18,000. He's now a millionaire. Paid off his parents' mortgage was the first thing he did.
Oh, my goodness.
Doing good things with it. It was a very Merry Christmas for him. But I'm thinking about starting my own cryptocurrency. It seems like they're all selling incredibly high right now.
James,
you guys in?
Are you in, James?
I'm not a buyer. I like the technology. I think it has a lot of promising possibilities. But these valuations lately on Bitcoin are I don't see how you justify them. I mean, the idea of getting around MasterCard and Visa so you can avoid those fees, that's nice, but I don't think it comes close to justifying that price.
It's a libertarian's dream, but it may be a little pricey right now. Guys, thank you, Scott. Great to see you, my friend. Happy New Year to you.
See you, David.
Meanwhile,